Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Sandari Broadcast System. Today we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Dom,
Yes.
what? Just no context into what happened in the episode so far. What do you think?
Pretty good. As like all like the Bad Batch episodes, they're all like not connected as of I will say, just not as connected to like back to back, but it's still you can get like the urge of the story and more how inquisitive the Bad Batch can be. I really liked it. It was a great change of pace, so to speak. Seeing without trying to spoil it, I'm trying to keep my mouth from blabbering. But I really liked it.
Yeah, it was definitely a good episode, and but without talking about it yet, something that you mentioned to me that Diet and the Force, which is another Star Wars podcast put on by Element 7 and Darth Chaco, which go watch them. They'll be live in an hour.
Yeah, they'll be live after us. Like
yeah, they go live at I think 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. An hour after us. They're on the West Coast, so I don't remember what that is for them.
It'll be 5 o'clock by then.
Yeah, something like that. But they're great guys. They do a lot. They're very informative and all that stuff. But they said that that every episode is just part of their adventure. And that's like kind of like what I said last week. I don't feel like there's any filler with this season. It's just different parts of their adventure as they're going.
Mm-hmm. It's just days of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Where they be is another adventure, or it's just another day on the job.
But without further ado, let's start to break down kind of what we saw this week. First off, the first thing we see is they're dropping off some cargo to some very particular looking droids. And as Dom pointed out to me right before the show, they're the same as
L3-37.
L3. There we go. Which I didn't catch that when I first watched it, honestly, and I watched it this morning.
So did I. Like 2 hours from now. I
was like, I thought they looked familiar, but I didn't catch that they were L3, the same droid as L3. So that was a nice little Easter egg there.
I'm trying to see what kind of actually she's like what we know from L3 is that she's just a navigator. Navigator droid. I'm looking at the fandom wiki. She's classified as a custom droid pilot droid. So,
well, those were very much not pilot droids.
Not pilot droid. They were on the literally a cartel, not a cartel, just a black market gang run by droids. Not even a gang. They do illegal business. And
a smuggling ring?
Smuggling ring, yeah, run by droids. Was the cargo they were given? Just wondering, was those like fake chain codes?
Yeah, they were chain codes that were meant to fool any Imperial scanner. Which that was a nice callback to episode 1, because ever since those first few episodes where chain codes were actually a thing, we haven't heard hide nor hair of chain codes. So seeing them pop up again was kind of nice.
Mm-hmm. It I think just it now serves as the more common use of identification.
Mm-hmm. Allows the Empire to control where people go, what they do, and always know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then while that whole deal is going on, a commotion happens in the hangar bay. And first thing there's it's either Echo or it's Omega. Probably Omega.
I think this season it's been Omega just either going into stuff or finding their way out.
Yes. Then we cut over to like the hangar bay to see what's going on, and it's our favorite Wookiee Jedi.
Gungi! Sorry, I apologize. I do apologize. I have not seen. I will say, this is the first time first time since episode 1 of Bad Batch, season 1, episode 1, that we've seen a Jedi on screen.
Yes.
Which I like that because it just goes to show how rarely people survive, and you're just doing what I'm doing.
I was actually stretching because I'm like I'm tight, like my upper body's just kind of tight for some other reason. I don't know why.
Same here.
Probably just from work. But that's that point. Yeah, this is the first time since episode 1 of the Bad Batch that we've seen Jedi on screen, which tells you that this isn't like they're trying to stay away from Jedi in this show. Like it's a clone story. It's not a Jedi story.
Mm-hmm. Especially since so many, from their perspective, so many have been slaughtered. They don't know who has survived.
Mm-hmm. And Gungi was hesitant to go along with them, which just shows like how much trauma he's actually been through. In however long it's been since the purge. Did they give us like a time frame? I can't remember if they gave us a time frame of like how long he's been surviving on his own. Because he's clearly grown up since
he has. He's like, I'm basing it just how I would say the previous time we seen him was already it's in the Clone Wars when the group of Padawans. When is the last time that we see him prior to Bad Batch?
When they had to go rescue Ahsoka from the pirates, and then Grievous showed up on the planet, on Hondo's planet. That was the last time we saw them.
Yeah, he must have. I'm afraid to even just think about it, because if he's the only one that's survived out of his group, and it depends on who he was with during the time of his with all the other younglings. By that point, he may have probably been a Padawan.
Well, pretty sure he was a Padawan by that point. But no, that's. I wonder if we're going to see more of his story in later episodes, or if this is just one-off, like we're just seeing him here.
I mean, that could be the case. I mean, aren't we halfway there? We're halfway with the amount of episodes it's supposed to be going at, I think. How many episodes? It's like not 12. I think I was off by 12 when I said 12.
Let me check.
I think what Bad Batch is doing is picking up loose ends, I will say. Because last episode it was the giant automaton that represented Zepho technology.
It's according to Google, it says 16.
16. Okay, yeah. So we are almost halfway there. So we still got a bunch of time.
Let's talk a little bit more about the episode rather than just kind of speculating things like will we see
Yeah.
him again is one thing. First thing we see with him in this episode is that he has fallen into the very common trope for Wookiees in the galactic era, which is he was being sold as a slave.
Because
Wookiee.
Because Wookiee, you either have them as a slave or a pelt.
If you're a Trandoshan.
Yep.
Speaking of Trandoshans, let's talk about the one Trandoshan that spoke perfect basic.
Oh yeah, wow. Well,
like all Trandoshans can speak basic.
All can.
But he spoke it like a human.
Doesn't Sid do it too?
She has a hint of Trandoshan in it. Just like her inflection, she doesn't have the like lizard.
No, I'm too.
But this one Trandoshan literally spoke just like a human would.
That's dialect.
I didn't know Trandoshans could do that. Like Sid, like we know Sid can talk normal, but it's like you can tell that she's Trandoshan just by you can kind of tell. I'm not saying like it's 100%. Oh yeah, I can. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's Trandoshan. Just you can learn. You can identify Trandoshans by like their little rasp that they have because they're lizards, but then that one had nothing.
He had no. That felt weird. It felt like that felt weird because he felt like the most monstrous, I will say, because he had no animalistic reptilian inflections.
Mm-hmm. And then he offered 10 Wookiee pelts. Oh, was it 10 or was it 100 Wookiee pelts? So whoever could bring him Gungi.
Yep. Hi.
That's disturbing to think that he has 100 Wookiee pelts.
It's terrifying.
I mean, it speaks great merit to his skill. That's terrifying.
It goes to show, yeah, like think about. It also adds to how long since the Empire.
They both have long lifespans. Like both Wookiees and Trandoshans have long lifespans.
Yeah,
but we also don't know like the age of the like he just said 100 Wookiee pelts. Is it 100 fully grown Wookiees? Is it 100 Wookiee children?
It's just I think it's just Wookiees in general. I mean, why would they even care for the age whenever it's just profit to them?
Well, it's not always profit. It's a lot of times it's tradition because their entire society is built around hunting, and like
That's
their
true.
rite of passage is to hunt a Wookiee. So, like to me, I feel like it would have to be 100 fully grown Wookiees because otherwise it would be too easy, and they don't want an easy hunt.
I would say, yeah, it'd have to be a good adult, like a good adult warrior.
Which again is terrifying if he has 100 of them.
And that much, and all that, and he says he would give all that worth one Jedi, one Force sensitive Wookiee who is still a kid. That goes to show the amount of rarity and profit that is very. I'm blanking on the word.
Importance.
Expense.
Well, I don't see. Even in like a not so smart person would be like, if like you're trying to sell a Wookiee pelt and you're like, oh yeah, this comes from a force sensitive Wookiee.
No one would believe. Yeah, no one
Yeah.
would believe that. He would. I don't think he would even use him as a pelt. It would be more worth it because he's in because he made a deal with the with the Empire to just help, like, just move and hunt down Wookiees to pursue the area and just to get them out of there. He would want just the body or it be a lot. No, just the body, because how much do you think they would pay for a Jedi if a random hunter would capture a Jedi with a hunter like that?
They would have. I feel like the hunter would have to bring the Jedi in alive. That way, they could verify it is a Jedi.
Which, well, I don't know why I'm thinking the logistics of. They would either have either just physical signs, like having just a lightsaber, or just seeing their ability firsthand, or bring out the big guns. I doubt this will happen. I'm not actually no. We're getting. Well, let's just continue talking about it before we start getting into personal theories. That way, we're still keeping track with everything. So we meet them.
Yeah, we re-meet Gungi, and then they make their hasty escape back to Kashyyyk. And then they encounter the spider webs. I was not expecting what they showed. I was expecting something entirely different.
You were thinking of a Krykna?
Yeah, the spiders that you fight in Fallen Order. Things are massive.
I when I saw it, I kept thinking of a Krykna, but I would.
So when it was something entirely different, I was like, "Oh, yep, that tracks for Kashyyyk."
That tracks for Kashyyyk.
Just immense biodiversity in like 2 seconds.
We get to see more wildlife of planets and like native to it, and I love it. I also, speaking of, we meet that. Can we also talk about the those, like, what I've been calling them, monkey lions? The things that they
cool.
Yeah, those were awesome. What were they? I'm just gonna animals native to Kashyyyk.
They might not even be on the wiki yet because they're just showing up.
This may actually. Well, it's been about a good few days, so. No, the spider creature is called the Kinrath. It's from Legends. And the feline it's a Malaya.
It's a Malaya?
It's a yeah. Mylaya.
Spell that again. MY.
Mylaya.
Oh yeah.
They're a huge cat-like creature with telescopic ears, and they climb and leap through forests on the planet Kashyyyk, where they are used as mounts by members of the Wookiee species.
Well, that's so nice. That's something nice to.
Wow.
Something new, nice and new for canon.
Oh, they were based on a sketch that Dave Filoni drew for George Lucas. I'm very impressed with how much, like, even if this has been, even if for animals, of how the wiki it can easily be filled on an article from just something that we just see for a few frames. or a few
Mhm.
scenes. That is very impressive on Wikipedia. Words are fun,
Words are difficult.
but after we meet those spiders. We get to see use. I always forget the first name that the first ability that has, was it Animal Bond?
Yeah, something like that. Um, one thing that I want to point out, I don't know if it was intentional that they said it this way or if it was just a mistake, but they referred to the tanks that the Trandoshans had was Imperial tanks.
Yeah, Imperial.
But
Did you
those
also
are-
get? Those are like
those-
separatists.
Yeah, those are separatist AATs that are modified with a flamethrower. Obviously, it had the Imperial symbol painted on it, but those were separatist AATs.
That was in that scene. I wouldn't know how they. I wouldn't know how they would identify it to be Imperial if they didn't show the other clones that were in the later scene in that episode.
Well,
I wouldn't.
They had the like if you it was kind of like a blink and you'll miss it frame, but there was a the Imperial symbol, like the Imperial gear, painted on it. So like somebody like Hunter, Tech, Echo, they'd be able to see that and be like, oh, that's an Imperial tank. But like those are separatist AATs, just flamethrowers. And what were they burning? That's what I want to know. They were burning
It was like
something important to the Wookiees.
I tried going back to listen to what the Trandoshan said on what this was because they burned it before. I still couldn't get a good read on it. His actually here is is the one that spoke pure basic is his name's Venomore. The Trandoshan commander. And we can also safely so as far as I can tell with timeline wise, we don't know exactly, but it said every article I've seen on Bad Batch says it's like around 19 BBY. So it's still fresh among the Empire.
But we it may be around 19 BBY, but we still have like no concept of how much time has passed other than the 32 days that Crosshair was stuck on Kamino. Which I mean, it's not like isn't not an issue. It's just like it's hard to. It makes it more difficult to like line up like when things happened. Because like with the Clone Wars, we could base it off like major battles. Like, oh hey, here was the Battle of Christosis. And then we have all the Christosis episodes. We have all those different Christosis episodes. Cool. We can put that right there.
Yep.
The invasion of Kamino. Okay, Rookies goes here, right at the beginning. Like even though they never said like, oh, it's been X many years, X many days or whatever. Like we still have something we can quantify like when it happens.
Sorry.
I just want to know so I can like see the state of the galaxy during that time period. Like if they said, "Oh, this season 2 is taking place in 17 BBY." Okay, cool. I can now see if there's any other media covering 17 BBY.
There's nothing to match it to base it on like if when this is happening, when what else is happening somewhere in the galaxy at the same time. I think I also found what they were destroying. So so those stones, They were stripping it of its the planet, as we know, as its resources. But it was he contacted him because those standing stones were blocking the path. Which standing stones blocking the path. He ordered the tank commander to destroy the stones and keep on schedule before disconnecting. So I think those standing stones hold which are very important. I think are very important to Wookiee culture. Because apparently, my guess is either they serve as graves or like sacred, or just like a sacred site. It didn't seem to me like a burial ground, but it would be one of the only options that I can think of.
There is an elephant in the room we need to address when it comes to this episode.
Mm-hmm.
The Bad Batch didn't use stun rounds once.
Yep. I have noted that was a huge thing.
And I chalk it up to I watched a video on it earlier. But it was saying that everything else, like the other reasons, like them raiding Sereno and all that, that was very impersonal to them. Like, yeah, it has something to do with like their personal lives, but it didn't have a personal connection, as opposed to the Wookiees, where they had fought side by side with the Wookiees, they had fought side by side with the Jedi, and now it's much more personal to them, and they want to try and rectify what had happened because of Order 66.
They didn't want it to happen again.
But also, the Empire has marked the Bad Batch as KIA, just gone. So if you're fighting Imperials, you can use stun rounds, and when they're like, "Oh yeah, it was the Bad Batch. This is Clone Force 99," the Empire will deny it.
Stun
they're dead. They're dead. But Trandoshans come like, "Oh hey, yeah, we were attacked by a bunch of clones, and they stunned us." They're like, "What?" They won't be able to cover that up. But also,
they wouldn't. They wouldn't be able to. I feel like they would be. They wouldn't be able to cover it up if it was if they used actual rounds without just the safety on. Because if they did that for clones, I feel like that would be technically a different story. Not as much as with the Trandoshan, because they just use stuns. It's easy to slide under the rug.
In the greater galaxy, a lot of people don't really care for Trandoshans. So a few dead Trandoshans on Kashyyyk, they can chalk it up to the Wookiees killing them. But also the Trandoshans, a majority of the galaxy views them as monsters because of what they do. They will abduct people and hunt them for sport. So
that is very fair.
Being faced with that type of enemy, it would have been stupid for them not to kill them.
Yeah, because there's a difference between soldiers who are following orders than hunters hunting literally sentient beings for sport.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that I kept seeing and thinking. There was a Gungi was going through a lot this episode.
Oh yeah,
he's been through so much. Like I wouldn't doubt. What were you saying?
He's having to deal with a lot of trauma, in the fact that these are probably the first friendly clones he's seen since Order 66, or since before Order 66, and then getting to see his homeworld for the first time in a conscious memory. dealing with the ever-present enemy of the Wookiees and the Trandoshans, and seeing his homeworld being destroyed by outsiders, and having to come to trust clones when not too long ago clones were trying to kill him and still are.
Mm-hmm.
He's taken what would normally be like years worth of therapy and condensing it into a day.
It's a lot. Even seeing him learning his culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We also get to learn more about like world building of Kashyyyk and how the Wookiee lifestyle or culture is. I'm just gonna say culture. They believe that the trees, that every single tree on the planet of Kashyyyk own the planet, and they are just settlers that the trees allow them.
And like we see that like they communicate with the trees, so like it's not weird to think about that, because again, it's Star Wars. Like anything can happen. So the trees being more or less sentient and like allowing these people, like the Wookiees and the other creatures, to live there, it kind of tracks for Star Wars, because we've literally seen literal Force gods exist.
Oh yeah,
We've seen
personified, literally.
We've seen literal angels. We have sentient dark side vines. So some sentient trees that are just peaceful and like, yeah, you can live here.
Yeah,
that tracks for Star Wars.
Yeah, a personification of the literal balance of light and dark.
Mm-hmm. And then, like every tree on Kashyyyk originates from one tree.
Yeah, although all the roots are connected.
Yeah, I know you haven't played Fallen Order. Roast him in the comments for that.
Yeah, roast me, because I'll roast me. By this point, I'm just gonna watch like gameplay on YouTube, because it'll take it's gonna be a while before I actually get to play it.
But yeah, roast him in the comments. It's 2023 and he hasn't played it yet. But in Fallen Order, you have to visit a place on Kashyyyk known as the Origin Tree, which like is like the center point of Wookiee faith, and just kind of like a Force nexus that is Kashyyyk.
That is very cool. What was I going to say earlier?
Oh, and Dom, for you said you're gonna watch a walkthrough. I know of a guy on YouTube that does really good walkthroughs. I've been watching him since like 2013. Really good gameplay, and he has some nice commentary.
All right, I'll have YouTube pulled up, and just give me his name, and then I'll put him in.
The Rad Brad.
The Rad Brad.
All you guys watching, obviously not right now because we're at 0, but later on when people decide to watch this, go give the Rad Brad a follow here on YouTube. He's a great guy. Like I said, I've been watching his stuff for years. Really wholesome guy. Lots of good gameplay. Lots of good commentary. He's currently doing the Dead Space remake and Forsworn and something else, I think.
Seems very cool. All right, so we covered the black market, the droids, the Gunji, going back to Kashyyyk, the trees.
I don't think the Elder Wookiee needed the stick to walk.
I don't think either.
I think it's more like a ceremonial thing.
Either
I don't
that, or
know.
it's just she's just following the trope of all elders just need like a stick to know. I think she can hold her own.
While we're talking about sticks, the stick that Yoda carried, it's not a walking stick.
What is it?
It's the Star Wars equivalent to weed. You think I'm joking? What
No
it's used
way!
for, when it is consumed, it will bring you to like a elevated sense of being, like not like you're transcended, but like you're high. For all intents and purposes, you're high, but it's meant to help with pain. Like that's why he has it. Is because he's over 900 years old. Of course, he's gonna be hurting.
You also,
But it allows him to walk around easier. And think about this.
just a giant weed stock. Oh, I hope Leox Gaius needs to know this. I hope he already knows.
But yeah, he just has a stick that he carries with him that he can eat to get high to help with the pain.
To help meditate.
That too. But of all things to get after he goes into exile, he doesn't make a new lightsaber. No, he just gets another weed stick.
I thought he already had the stick, even in the Clone Wars.
He did. He did. He got another one.
Was it a? Yeah.
He got another one. Because remember, he hits R2 with it. And note, the first thing he does on screen ever is he's raiding Luke's food. He had the munchies.
Yeah, the first thing you do when you're high, you're high, it's just munchies. It's just like, why is this droid taking stuff from me? There, like, I was about to list like, oh, just the amount of people who don't need sticks to walk, but just show it they can handle it on their own. So you have Tara Sanube, the Wookiee elder, Yoda, who carries a weed stick. What is it called?
It is called a it's a Gimmer stick or Geimer stick.
Gimmer stick.
Gimer.
It's a type of walking stick. It's given as a gift from the Wookiees.
Yep.
So is that the same type of stick that the elder's holding?
Maybe.
I mean, if the one he was given probably helps his size. I wouldn't doubt that it has nutritious juices inside that eased thirst and acted as a natural painkiller. Oh my gosh, it's mentioned so much in High Republic.
And it aids in his meditation.
This, of course it does. And you know what? You know what's funny as well? The stick was with him when he was a Force Ghost.
Yep. Man found a way to bring weed to the afterlife.
No, I'm just thinking what Yoda would do, like after his huge arc with the ways, or the wills, or with the wills, and just on that journey, just coming home to the temple. A moment I need. just.
But do with that information as you will. Yoda was a stoner.
I would love to know if he actually does use it, and it's somehow it's oh my god, it's so funny.
But yeah,
he had it all the way back to the High Republic era.
While we're talking about Yoda, there's a few theories out there about why he talks the way he does, and it's my personal headcanon, this theory, and I love
I think
I
we
love
did
it.
talk about. I think we did
I
talk
have
about this
talked
once.
to you about it. I just haven't talked to our friends here about it.
Okay.
He talks the way he does to fuck with people because there's only one other at present. There's only one other of Yoda species that can talk, and she is dead. She talked. Yaddle talked normal. Yoda did not. So there's a theory that because he's 900 years old, he just talks like that to fuck with people.
He's seen it all. He can do like.
Because we see him talk normal in a few instances. One of which being
ordering like in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like he's like, focus your fire on the nearest starship. And there's just a meme. It's like, did you just talk normal?
It did seem like in that clip, he looks like he's fighting so hard not to slip into his isms.
Mm-hmm.
But
because also like this is the first time he's like he's interacted with the clones in a professional manner. So like make a good first impression and then just go off the rails being a nut job of a 900-year-old toad sage.
He's so amazing.
But back to the Bad Batch.
I mean, we covered the Trandoshans, Gunji being the droids leading up to it, the trees, finding him a home back to Kashyyyk, Bodhi's culture.
Just remembered something we didn't touch on from the beginning of the episode. This is my theory, and we might find out if it's true or not. I think Omega might be Force sensitive.
That was okay. I was because just about
she's
to
like,
say that.
She goes, I have a feel like something doesn't feel right. And after a second, Echo agrees, like, yeah, something feels off, but it's best to leave it alone. She just gets up and fucks off to find Gunji.
Yeah, like, that's I the way I've associated with force sensitivity, hearing it based on the music that is being played, or just a sound effect of like a wind being played, or just and just like noticing.
But then that also begs the question: what was Gunji just like letting out like a force presence to any living thing in hopes that someone would come and help him?
Yeah, because how long would he have been there? Would he have been there?
Yeah, like, or is Omega like? Is that just her being an empath? Because I've heard people say that she's an empath, or is she like force sensitive? Like not. I'm not gonna say to the point of like being a Jedi or something, but
it could still be developing.
There are different stages of being force sensitive because again, this is Legends, but Han Solo is force sensitive. That's why he's such a good pilot.
Mm-hmm.
Wedge Antilles, force sensitive.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. That's why he's such a good pilot.
That's why he's still alive.
Look at like in Legends. Look at all the pilots that are like absolute amazing pilots, and they never have issues when in a fight, again, a dogfight. It's just they seem to have like a sixth sense about what's going on. 9 times out of 10, they're force sensitive. But again, that is Legends, so none of y'all come at me and say, "Oh, he said it was canon." No, it's not canon. It's Legends.
No, well,
until we hear otherwise, Han Solo is not. He's just a stupidly skilled pilot for no reason.
I mean, yeah. I do like the theory that Omega may be force sensitive, because whether or not I can tell. I can. I've been thinking she's just. This is still her way of developing it, or it's just. She hasn't had a need to look into it, nor has anyone ever has ever sensed her to know where she may be. Nor did we never knew of her existence. No one knew anyone of her existence outside of the Kaminoans until the Empire literally began.
I feel like Shakti would have picked up on it because she was stationed on she was on Kamino all the way up until the start of episode 3.
That's right, yeah.
So I feel like a Jedi Master of her caliber would be able to pick up on Omega being Force sensitive, but maybe she didn't say anything because she's a clone.
I don't think, as far as we don't know anyone else that knew of her existence except for the that is in canon in Kaminoans and now the Bad Batch and everyone else that has met her in the galaxy. Mm-hmm. But at that point, it's just that like you could just safely assume that she was an assistant.
We may never find out. It might be a major plot point in an episode or a book or whatever.
We could just be totally inaccurate. We are not saying that it may be canon. It's just it's just our own personal theory.
Until it's proven canon, it's just a fun little fan theory, and it's my head canon that it's my head canon that she's Force sensitive. Do I hope it's like actual canon? Kind of. But if it's not, it just adds another layer of mystery to who Omega is.
Mm-hmm.
Like why was she created the way she was?
Also, it's also my headcanon that Yoda smokes the Star Wars ganja, the space ganja. Of course on Kashyyyk.
He doesn't have to smoke it. He just eats the bark.
He needs to eat it. And
yeah. Go back to the wiki article. It says he just has to eat the bark.
It has nutritious juices and eased thirst. You can also drink it. It is a natural painkiller. What about in Legends? What does Legends say? Well, it says about the same thing. Which means oh yeah, so yeah. The Geimer bush is grown on Kashyyyk and Dagobah, so of course perfect. He needed it.
There's a reason he went.
There's a reason, not because it's a dark side nexus. That Dagobah's a dark side nexus. Or just
it's so he could have a constant supply of Grimer bush.
Need something to pass the time, I do. Something to pass the time, I need.
It just says about the same thing.
It's now my headcanon that after Obi-Wan died and became a Force ghost, he went to Dagobah and they were just passing it back and forth.
Okay, I found something. Oh, okay. So Yoda used the stick as both a walking stick and a source of nutrients. Geimer juice could be chewed out of the stick's bark and was said to aid the Jedi Master in his meditation. Literally, this juice could keep Yoda alive for a while, were he to be without food. In his old age, he also chewed on the stick to release a natural anesthetic. Such canes were believed to symbolize the ancient wisdom of a Jedi Master.
Ancient wisdom.
Ancient, yes. I wonder what meeting the councils are in today.
Yoda shows up to fight the Nihil. Hey, Martian, and just
Why
chew
don't
on
you
that. Just chew on that. Chill out.
roll a doobie with me?
So while we're on the topic of like on theories and
Drugs.
on drugs, on theories and headcanons, you mentioned something earlier in this stream that got me thinking. Would you think by chance that we may see Darth Vader in the Bad Batch? We're pretty early in the season still. I don't
gonna say
see
no.
any reason why he would.
I'm gonna say no, because let's look at it of like what he was doing between 19 BBY and 0 BBY.
That's
He
right.
was hunting down Jedi, and unless Gunji, like high level, all Jedi, but mainly high level Jedi that managed to survive, and training the Inquisitors. Unless Gunji sticks around with the Bad Batch, which I doubt is going to happen because he probably just wants to be with his people for the first time in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Vader would have no reason to come after the Bad Batch unless they get like a lead, like, hey, there's going to be some really good Imperial gear at this location. They go, and it just so happens to be Darth Vader's Star Destroyer or a base that he's just so happens to be at, and it's just 100% pure coincidence, even though there's no such thing as coincidences. Just 100% pure coincidence that they're in the same place at the same time. But him actively pursuing them, I don't see that happening unless some high-ranking Jedi tags along with the Bad Batch for a little too long.
We may find out when we get a call when the Bad Batch gets that call from Rex. Who knows? It'd be. Now I'm thinking. Now I'm just getting my brain thinking and processing all that information.
You can go tell your dad that Yoda's a stoner.
As soon as I get home, as soon as he gets home, oh my gosh, yeah. I think I said this earlier in the stream. I think that this season of the Bad Batch, and I think it was also happening in season 1. I think it's this way to it's Star Wars' way to add more information to indirectly to other mysterious pieces of Star Wars media. Like I was saying, it's like with last episode, it was with just the Zephonian like automaton, and in the first few episodes, we're going to Sereno to go to Dooku's castle. We'll find out the mystery behind that hidden trapdoor.
I was still really hoping it'd be like a Sith shrine or something.
So,
and the Bad Batch is like, "What the fuck is this?"
It'd be too early. It's too early in the season to find out. It would hold too more. I feel like if it was, it'd be hold too much of an importance, and Palpatine would have found out.
We'll never know.
We'll never know.
We've got just a few more minutes left. Is there anything else you wanna talk about?
Well, on the topic of Wookiees, I saw a video that said actually when shooting for Star Wars for A New Hope tech, just for the original trilogy, they actually had the actor for Chewie to speak his lines in English.
Yeah, I saw that, and it was terrifying. It was disturbing.
Tell him we're leaving!
That old man's mad. You said it, Chewie. I'm like, I saw someone in the comments said, why does the Yorkshire accent fit Chewie so much? I'm like, I'll have to hear it more to know understand it, but Jesus Christ. I mean, that's perfect. It's amazing. Well, actually, with these final minutes left, what do you think is going to be in this next episode?
Good question. I have no idea. Because, like, I don't know, like, what to try and predict because we don't know if they're still going to be on Kashyyyk or anything. Like, I would love to see Cody come back already, but that might not happen at all this season. It might have just been the one episode. I honestly don't know, like, where to say, yeah, this is where it's going to go. What about you?
It's yeah, like you said, there's no way to know because it doesn't there's no way to follow how long each episode's been, nor is it concise because it could just it's a new adventure every time.
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know if the events that are happening are going in like chronological order. It's like the Clone Wars where it was jumping all over the timeline.
Mm-hmm. I think well, now that we know it's still safe, we can still safely assume that it's still within that year, the year of the Empire forming. We're just in the first year. We just know it's just around then. As long as I'm just still satisfied it's just that, except like having just a year jump.
Yeah. Maybe they'll like let us know at some points, but it's honestly just still speculation right now.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, to me, it just feels like it's just been like a good 5, 6 to 8 months.
There are moments that I feel that, but then there are others like it feels like it's been over a year of them being on the run because just like the way they hold themselves, the way they act changes every kind of episode. Like they don't like completely change, but like there's small details about them that changes.
Do you still think that we'll be able to see with just by chance Hondo Ohnaka?
It'd be funny, yes, but do I see it happening? Not necessarily.
Nah.
Because when we see Hondo in Rebels, he's all by himself. So it's safe to assume that like the Empire cracked down heavy on pirates, or he just decided to say fuck it and go out on his own, which
When's the last time?
Which really doesn't fit his character type. If he just said fuck it and go out on his own, if he was forced to go out on his own by like his people being massacred or whatever, that kind of make more sense.
We'll just have to see. I mean, we got 10 more episodes.
And with that, that is all the time that we have. Thank you guys so much for watching. And for us, like the video, comment, subscribe, and
let us know what you think you would like to see in the...
Please interact with this video. If there's anything you want us to talk about other than just breaking down the weekly episodes of Bad Batch, let us know. We're trying to get some more content coming out during the weekdays as opposed to just on the weekends.
Those are in the works.
So yeah, that's all in the works. So just stay tuned for that. And if you, whenever you guys watch this, just after you get to watch this, go over and watch Diet in the Force with Element 7 and Darth Chaco. They're great guys.
They're pretty.
I've talked with both of them a little bit one-on-one because I needed some pointers, but also like at some point I would like to try and get them on the show. Before that, I want to get more viewers to come and watch our episodes every week before I'm like, hey, yeah, come watch our show, and then nobody shows up.
Yeah. Which happens. I mean, I was on just last week after we did our episode of Sundara Broadcast. I went over and checked and saw their stream last week and got a chance to get on actually just by with having fun. They were just taking guest calls, and I got on and we just started playing. We started to have fun and playing games and give our little things on what we thought of the episode.
Yeah, again, guys, thank you so much for watching. And until next week, may the Force be with you and have a great day.
Catch you on the other side. Also, check them out. They'll be streaming